Again, the first step we want to do right now is just save this 004, and this is going to be our Hyperlink robot itself. So right now I'm going to select one of the arms, delete it, as well as the leg, and also I'm just gonna leave it like this. The reason we do this is actually go here and turn true smooth of this off, convert this to poly, and select the sphere and just delete it as well. And I'm just gonna copy the true smooth and paste it as an instance. The reason we do this is we just want to work with the stuff that we're going to need for the robot itself. Instead of having to colorize the materials and so on to show you what we're going to do, well, basically we're just going to do one of the arms and one of the legs. The body is going to be one mesh itself, the head as well, and the helmet also. The arms and legs, they're going to be mirrored, so this way, this is most of the stuff you see right now is going to be only modeled out and textured and optimized. So the first thing I want to do is select anything and go in ungroup and just do it a few times. Click Ctrl A and then go and deselect the groups, because I want to have all my meshes in separate ungrouped so I can work much more easy with them. And I want to toggle off all turbo smooths on the meshes, and for some of them I can do it now, but for some of them I need to go to individual objects and turn them off because they were not grouped correctly and they were not with the correct turbo smooth and so on, but that's okay. So for the floaters I have to go and toggle them by hand. You can see that the spheres now still have turbo smooth, so I have to turn it off. Those were grouped now and they're now ungrouped, so I have to toggle this off by hand, as well as make sure that anything's toggled off. Do the same for the legs, those pieces, as well as those. And now once we have all those turned off, we want to save this as, wait, make sure, yes, anything's off. I'll save it again one more time as 0005. The reason we do this is right now if I press H, you can see that I have all those pieces, and I want to give a little bit of order while we're modeling. You can notice that this piece is off, so I'm just gonna toggle it off and hit save, Control and S on the keyboard, so it will save 005. And now I want to select this piece and for the moment just give it some name like forearm or F arm, doesn't matter. And then we're just gonna select all those pieces and convert them to poly. And right now I just want to add a separate material for my spheres, for my floaters, so it will be easy later on to select them. And the first thing I want to do is go to this basic mesh mat and apply it. There is the reason we're doing this, and you're gonna see it in a minute. So I'm just gonna select this sphere, actually go in front view, hit F3 and then just select and drag. And now if I press F3 again, I'm gonna hit Alt on the keyboard and left mouse click on the mesh, on the arm, go in perspective and deselect the sphere as well. And make sure that when I press Alt and Q, I have all those pieces together. So while I'm in isolation mode, I can select one of those spheres, convert it to poly, because they're all spheres, as you can see, it needs to be poly. And right click on it after we did this, and then go to attach. And now, because I'm in isolation mode, I can select all those spheres and all those floaters that are inside here. I don't want them to be separated pieces, because those are just floating geometries which are going to be projected on the mesh. So I just want to go on the top one, in this case plane 006, and just drag down, hold shift and left click on the bottom piece. So this way I'm gonna select all of them and I'm gonna hit attach. Once doing this, you can see that my floaters now are all centered and all attached. I just need to center the pivot points, and we're just gonna go to hierarchy, affect pivot point, and center to object. And now I just want to go again in shader mode and apply this material as well. So this way I can know what I finished and what I haven't. You can notice what's the floaters on my mesh itself. So we're just gonna name this piece body, and I just want to convert it to poly and convert this one to poly as well. And in order to know what pieces we have done, I'm just gonna apply this with green. We're just gonna fix the name convention to base mesh main material and just apply the green one for the moment. Or actually let's change those colors to something more neutral, like I love to work with green colors, and make this green and make this floating geometry like red, for example, so we can see it very well. Probably a little bit more like darker red, so we have a good representation from different pieces. So you can notice that here we forgot one of the folders, and that's not attached to the arm itself. So just want to make sure if this is with turbo smooth and the other one is with turbo smooth. You can see that this folder is a little bit intersecting. Well, it's not kind of a problem, but I just want to make sure that it's a little bit off, like this, before I turn off the turbo smooth on this and on this, and go to my spheres, that's are my floaters, and just attach this. It's different material, it says it's different material, so I'm just gonna hit OK. I'm just gonna apply the material itself. So now I have the floaters on my hand. We don't have no material, no floating geometries on these pieces, so I'm just gonna select those, make sure the turbo smooth is on, and convert them to poly, and apply the green material. We're doing this exercise in order to, for example, you can notice that here we haven't turned off the turbo smooth, and if I isolate this, and by some mistake we have isolation display on. Some artists like me, for example, love to work with this because it's off. You're gonna see all the polys, but the problem is if I forgot to turn this off, and let's just save one more time and convert this to poly, and you know, there's some strange shading going on. Well, if I go in polygon mode, you can see that I have all those vertices flying around, and that's actually destroying my mesh. And now if I apply turbo smooth on it, you can notice that it gets very weird smoothing and it's kind of messed up, and that's what we don't want to have. This is a destroyed mesh. So I just press Ctrl Z a few times, and I'm gonna turn off turbo smooth and convert it to poly. So I collapsed it, and now apply the green material as well. I'm gonna press M to hide the material selection, and now I'm just gonna go to the body itself. I'm going to convert it to poly because I have a lot of edit poly modifiers and other things, and I just need them collapsed because from here on we're just gonna do the low poly modeling itself. So I collapsed this as well, and I'm gonna apply a green material to it. And since I don't have to do anything else, I'm just gonna go in front view and hide selection. And now I can select all those floaters on the mesh, go in perspective, Alt Q again, and make sure all the turbo smooths are off. On the spheres they're off because there are instances of each other, so they're okay. I'm gonna select this piece, convert it to poly, and again do the attach and select anything with the mouse. And another thing, sometimes just going and affect center pivot point will not work because since we selected this piece first, our pivot point was rotated. So after centering it, you probably will need to unlink just in case and reset the X form. And you can notice that those got flipped outside. The reason you don't see it that way is, well, In some places you see it, but once I apply the normal, everything will be okay. And now I can convert to poly. And you can notice that if I go into my pivot points, my pivot point is correct. And what it does, it resets it to the world coordinates of XYZ on the workspace. So that's what we want. And now, since it's centered, we're just gonna leave it like this. Oh, and apply the red material so we can know it's marked. And in this case, we're just gonna hide it for the moment. I'm just gonna select the leg and going again in my modifier, just make sure all those are toggled off. And we haven't forgot some of the true smooths just in case. Okay, those are off. So what I can do now is select all those pieces, select the green material and apply it on top of them. You can notice that again my geometry is a little bit intersecting in these areas, so I can go and select my element and just drag it a little bit out in edit poly mode. And why I do this is because once I go to the other side and check it like this, you can see that it will do it the same way automatically on the other side. So now I can hide this for a second and select my filters again. Alt Q, just to see them, and convert them to poly. No, we're not going to reset it actually yet. We just want to attach anything. In this case, it's just only the spheres. And now go effects, pivot point, center to object, and reset X form. The reason we reset the X form of anything is that we want to have a proper normals for the measures. So I'm just gonna leave it like this, and in our next chapter we're gonna move on and continue refining all those pieces.